Microsoft has been a famous company for as long as anyone can remember, and considering the fact that every computer that is not under the Apple brand is most likely using a Microsoft product, it's safe to say that Microsoft's popularity is not going away anytime soon. Add to this the fact that Bill Gates, the CEO of Microsoft, is one of the richest men in the world with a net worth of about $111 billion, and it's easy that Microsoft is as valuable as it is famous. Looking at the massive success Microsoft has achieved today, it's almost impossible to imagine that the world once hated the billionaire philanthropist who founded the company, or that his company was being sued for being too big. But all that's actually true. Seriously, that happened, along with a controversy that Microsoft at some point wanted to take over the world. In order to be accused of wanting to take over the world, you'd have to be big enough to threaten the world with your size. But just how big is that? How big is Microsoft really? How deep are its roots in the world of technology? And just how did it make one of the wealthiest men this world has ever known? Without further ado, let's dive into the video. Before we get into Microsoft's current grand depths in today's world, let's take a look at how Microsoft came to be the powerhouse that it is today. Microsoft started out in 1972 when two friends, Bill Gates, the billionaire we know today, and slightly less known Paul Allen, created and sold computers that could analyze and track data from cars and traffic. They call this business venture Trafidata. Not the most interesting of beginnings if you think about it, but that's how Microsoft started. A few years later, in 1975, this dynamic duo converted a simple and popular programming language called BASIC into an interpreter the early PC called the Altair could use. This turned out to be a more successful move than Trafidata, so the pair established Microsoft the following month. However, it wasn't until 1980 that Microsoft entered the operating system business, which cemented its dominance in the tech world. Along with this move came the creation of MS-DOS, which sold more than 100 million copies of that program. Its dominance was staggering, to say the least. Riding on the wave of its previous success, Microsoft released Windows in 1985, unaware that several years down the line it would continue to be regarded as the most popular operating system in the world. Upon its release, Microsoft Windows sold at the rate of 1 million copies per month in the 90s, and almost 90% of the world's computers were using Windows at the time. It was a steady rise to the very top for Microsoft since then as a company started achieving dominance in most fields it ventured into. It shook off rivals and dominated office productivity, creating software like Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, and many more softwares that are still in use today. Somewhere along the line, Microsoft worked with Apple to create the software for some of its hardware. It was time spent working with Apple that inspired Bill Gates to build his operating system. Following this incident, Steve Jobs, Apple's CEO at the time, accused Microsoft of theft and filed a lawsuit. Ironically, Microsoft decided to be the bigger company when it went on to save Apple from bankruptcy in 1997 by making a $150 million investment around the time when Apple was on its last legs. Now that we've seen Microsoft's oldest endeavors, how about their more recent ones? In 1986, when Microsoft raised about $61 million, it was already touted as the world's largest PC software company. By April 2019, Microsoft had reached the $1 trillion market cap, becoming the third U.S. public company to be valued at over $1 trillion, right behind Apple and Amazon. Today, Microsoft is one of the world's largest companies in market value with a market capitalization of about $2.09 trillion as of April 15, 2022. Microsoft is said to have made a net income of $61.3 billion on revenue of $168 billion last year. Although Microsoft started as a software company, it's branched out into many areas in the tech industry over the years. From just software sales, Microsoft now deals in PC devices, cloud computing infrastructure, artificial intelligence, and much more. Needless to say, one of the aspects that has helped Microsoft expand to other products are the acquisitions, big and small, in different fields in the tech world. There have been quite a number of acquisitions made by Microsoft over the years, so let's take a look at some of those renowned companies that have earned a place under the Microsoft umbrella. LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the company's more expensive acquisitions. Microsoft purchased LinkedIn in 2016, and it's a popular business-centered, employment-oriented online service that uses websites and mobile apps. The social media platform is mainly for networking and career development. It allows persons searching for jobs to post their CVs and encourages employers to post jobs. LinkedIn was launched in 2003, and from the time of its launch, it became profitable in just 5 years. At that time, it boasted about 15 million users, and seeing its prospects, Microsoft wasted no opportunity and spared no expense in acquiring the budding company. Microsoft purchased LinkedIn for a little under $27 billion, and today, the company makes annual revenue of more than $10 billion. LinkedIn currently has 830 million plus registered members from over 200 countries and territories, an astounding growth over the years that proved a worthy investment for Microsoft. Skype. Another company owned by Microsoft is Skype, which was acquired back in 2011. Skype is a video conference app that's widely used all over the world. Microsoft purchased Skype for $8.5 billion and used it to replace their Windows Live Messenger, which was discontinued in 2013. Skype was founded in 2003 and by 2006 had over 100 million registered users and was generating a revenue of $740 million by 2009. After observing the potential of Skype, Microsoft went above and beyond to get Skype, eventually paying a total of 32 times Skype's operating profit. Of all the bold moves Microsoft made over the years, purchasing Skype is definitely the most rewarding. As a subsidiary of Microsoft, Skype has established itself as a giant in the telecommunication industry. GitHub. GitHub is yet another one of Microsoft's subsidiaries, and it's a bit closer to home turf for the company. GitHub is a popular tool for software development and large companies and functions as an open-source repository. GitHub was founded in 2008 and purchased by Microsoft in 2018 when around 30 million users couldn't develop software without using GitHub. Microsoft acquired GitHub at the price of $7.5 billion, and today it is the most prominent source code host with around 83 million users and more than 200 million repositories in use. Next, it's Mojang Studios. The odds are high you haven't heard about Mojang Studios, but there's almost nobody in the world who doesn't know about Minecraft. Minecraft is one of the best-selling video games of all time, and the maker behind the old classic video game is Mojang Studios. The umbrella company behind Mojang Studios is none other than Microsoft, acquiring it in a bid to keep its dominant foot in the game world just like any other field it ventures in. Microsoft bought Mojang Studios in 2014 at the price of $2.5 billion. Today, Mojang's games are played on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and mobile phones. Xbox. Owning a studio or two that produces games might be enough for any other company, but not Microsoft. The giant tech company also owns the console you play the game on. When Sony first announced its PlayStation 2 in 1999, Microsoft, which was intent on remaining the top dog on everything related to PCs, which included games, saw a threat at its initial stages. Microsoft immediately began working on making a console of their own to stand against any rival, and the Xbox series came into the gaming world. The Xbox easily became one of the largest console companies in the world, rivaling consoles like the PlayStation or the Nintendo. According to sources, Xbox currently has a net worth of about $600 billion. Through earnings from the consoles themselves, streaming services, and YouTube ads, it generated a record-breaking revenue of $16.22 billion during the last fiscal year. Nokia. With Microsoft's hands in every profitable aspect of the tech world, you'd expect it to have ventured into the mobile phone market, and let's just say Microsoft is not one to disappoint as it got its hands on Nokia when it could. What started out as a partnership between Microsoft and Nokia developed into Microsoft outright buying Nokia after some financial struggles. Nokia is a famous mobile phone company that's been around since 1865. The old-timer was, at a point in 2009, the 85th largest company in the world. From the late 90s to the later 2000s, Nokia was the largest vendor of mobile phones and smartphones worldwide. Microsoft bought Nokia in 2013 at $7.2 billion, hoping to increase its net worth and profit. Doing just that, Nokia now has a net worth of about $40 billion, according to sources. And with an operating income of $2.7 billion, it made revenue of about $22 billion last year. There is a lot of profitable companies under just Microsoft. It's no surprise that there was a controversy about Microsoft trying to take over the world. At this point, some might say they're simply big enough to do so. Microsoft is a long way from its beginning as just a software company. Over the years, they've spread their wings and grown into the multifaceted, multinational, multi-trillion-dollar company that we all see today. And the most glaring fact is that it is not slowing down anytime soon. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget, subscribe and activate those notifications for more inspiring videos. Cheers.